Hey guys, Josh from soccerreviewsforyou.com, bringing you my first impressions plus on-feet video of the brand new Adidas Ace 16.1 in the leather upper variation in the launch solar green, pink, and black colorway. Now inside the box they do include a string bag to go along with the shoes themselves. The string bag is the same you'd get with the synthetic Ace 16.1. It has the Ace pattern there on the front in neon yellow and black, the Ace logo in pink, the Adidas football branding at the bottom in pink. It's got neon green strings, and the back of the bag is solid black in color. Other than that, all you're going to find inside the box, as you guys can see, are the shoes themselves. So we'll get these guys out of the box really quickly, and we'll take a closer look at the leather upper variation of the new Ace 16.1 from Adidas. Another model that really hasn't seen that much attention, similar to the synthetic upper variation, mainly because people are really focusing on the laceless A16 Plus Pure Control and the A16.1 Prime Knit, which granted, those are both very interesting shoes, but this also is pretty interesting along with the synthetic model. So what we're going to be doing in today's video is going over all of the tech specs, kind of talking about what this shoe is all about. For those of you guys that were really big fans of previous leather F50 Adizero models, this is reminiscent of those shoes. It's kind of a comeback of the older leather F50s without the F50 branding anymore. And of course, I'm going to be talking about that in detail in this video. We're going to take a look at the weight of the shoe, because obviously that's going to be an important factor if I'm comparing these two F50 Adizeros. We're also going to take a look at how these things fit and feel on feet. So if you are interested in learning more, please stick around and watch the entire video. If you're interested in a pair of these for yourself, be sure to check out the review page on my website. That'll be the very first link down below in the description of this video. On that page, you'll find Buy It Now links with exclusive SR4U coupon codes, where you'll be able to pick these guys up below their normal $200 retail price. So again, if you're interested in a pair, first link down below, go ahead and check it out. And with that being said, let's get right into the review. To start things off, let's talk tech specs. Now, a lot of people were super disappointed when Adidas got rid of the F50 line, and really the last variation of the F50 wasn't true to what we had seen in the past. What really made the Adizero models so popular, which of course is that ultra lightweight sprint frame, something that Adidas has brought back with the launch of the new A16 lineup. So we have the sprint frame back, we have essentially the same stud pattern back, and now we have a combination of kangaroo leather and synthetic that makes up the upper on the 16.1 leather. With that being said, if you're comparing it to previous F50 Adizero models, which were calfskin leather uppers, this one is kangaroo leather. So the quality is a little bit better, which is a good thing. And like I said, it has many of the same elements as popular leather F50 models that we saw going back from 2010 until about 2014. So with this shoe, you're going to get kangaroo leather and synthetic for the upper. The front part of the shoe is leather. So basically from the front part of this Adidas stripe forward, all the way through the forefoot and toe box area, cutting off at the exact same point here on the medial side. You can see the natural leather stamp right there. This is actually kangaroo leather. It's about the same thickness, if not slightly thicker than what we've seen on previous F50 models, but very soft and will only get softer after some break-in time. So if you like that feeling of having leather in the forefoot and toe box area, that's exactly what these are going to have to offer. Very soft, very flexible, and relatively comfortable from right out of the box. The midfoot area, while it does have the leather grain finish to it, it is actually a synthetic material, but it's a synthetic material that is not as padded, not as thick as the leather, but it isn't super thin either. So you don't have this really harsh transition from a soft padded leather to a super thin synthetic. It's a little bit more uniform across the entire foot. The midfoot is definitely thinner and less padded, but like I said, it's not an extreme difference in thickness, which is something that I really like. You do have the extra kind of TPU fused on piece for the actual Adidas stripes. That's going to add a little bit of structure running from the base of the sole into the lacing system. So basically somewhat of a support system, and that's mainly on the lateral side. On the medial side, it's pretty much just painted on, embossed into the shoe, where like I said, it is actually extra material on the lateral side. And like I said, the general feeling is very comfortable. Again, the midfoot's not as soft as what you're going to find from the actual leather parts of the upper, but they are really nice out of the box, which is a very positive thing. I find these more comfortable than any previous leather F50 models, and I'll explain why in just a second. Laces run through the middle, as you guys can see. The tongue itself is exactly like what you're going to find from the synthetic version of the A16.1. So it's mesh-based with a memory foam insert running through the middle. It has all the little cutouts as well. Nothing too crazy. I wish it would have been leather, if I'm completely honest with you guys, but I don't really have any problems with this tongue either. Feels pretty good and is nice and comfortable. The heel area, this is a big difference when compared to previous F50 models. It has a more standard cut and shape. The older F50s had a really narrow back to them, which looked pretty cool, but honestly wasn't as comfortable as the shoes could have been. Obviously, they were trying to make it as minimal as possible to shave as much weight as possible, but this to me is a lot more comfortable. It locks your heel in nicer, and it just feels better in general. So you have a synthetic suede liner with plenty of padding back here, despite the shoe being relatively lightweight. So the step-in comfort is very good. I love the fact that it's synthetic suede. It grips your sock really nicely, and heel slippage in general is just not an issue with this shoe. The insole, fully removable. Again, exactly the same as what you're going to find on the synthetic model. It features synthetic suede as well, lining the top of the insole, some perforations through the midfoot and forefoot area, and it's just a single layer of this foam. Nothing too crazy, but it does get the job done. And then, of course, moving on to the sole plate and heel counter, it is a one-piece sprint frame construction, not identical to what we've seen from previous F50 models. This, I would argue, is a slightly more flexible plastic. It just doesn't have that same rigid sensation, but is about the same in terms of weight. I like that it has the external heel counter. You get that little bit of extra protection, as well as just nice stability at the back portion of the shoe. And then, of course, you do have the stiffener bars running through the middle, so it is rigid in the spots where it needs to be a little bit more rigid. And then the stud pattern, exact same layout that we've seen from Adidas for quite some time now. Just instead of triangular studs, we are seeing full conical studs. So you don't get quite as much bite when pushing off, but the ability to twist and pivot is something that I really like. And because the studs are fairly narrow in profile, they do dig into the ground quite nicely too. So again, grip is not an issue with this particular shoe. Plus, it's technically FG-AG, so whether you're playing on firm natural grass or artificial grass, it will get the job done. It is suitable for both of those two playing surfaces. I will say that this is definitely more of an FG stud pattern than an AG stud pattern, but again, if you do play on both natural and artificial playing surfaces and you only have the budget or only want to buy one single pair of shoes, this is an FG-AG model, so you technically can get away with it. So that's pretty much it as far as tech specs. Again, it has a lot of attractive features. Is this a great option if you're looking for that kind of super traditional leather-like feel? No, because obviously the majority of the shoe is still synthetic as opposed to leather. But if you do want, like I said, kind of what you got from older leather F50 models, this has what you're looking for. If you've considered something like a Mizuno Morelia Neo, maybe even the new Umbro Medusa Pro that recently went up on my channel. This is kind of a similar style of shoe with kangaroo leather at the front, synthetic through the midfoot, and just a lightweight feel overall. Again, if you like those types of things in a pair of soccer cleats, this is definitely a very strong option. As far as weight is concerned, I thought we'd compare the synthetic upper variation of the A16.1 to the leather version to see if there's any significant weight difference between the two. So I'm going to be weighing both shoes for you today in real time using this scale. Keep in mind these are both the exact same size 9 US and both in brand new condition, so this is a very fair comparison. We'll start off with the synthetic upper variation, throw it on the scale, and you can see that they weigh in at a very lightweight 6.9 ounces, the equivalent of 195 grams. So remember those numbers, change the scale back to ounces, pull these off, and throw on the leather upper variation, and you can see that they weigh in at 6.9 ounces, 196 grams. So they are 1 gram heavier than the synthetic upper variation, which essentially is nothing. These things feel just as light in hand as well as on feet. There is no noticeable difference between the two. So if you are trying to decide between leather or synthetic for the A16.1, weight should quite simply not be a deciding factor because they are essentially the exact same weight. With that being said, if you're looking for something that does have a slightly softer, arguably more comfortable feel, and you want a leather upper, then yes, the leather upper variation is probably going to be the better option when you're comparing the two. Aesthetically, I quite like the design of the new A16 line in general. I think that the Adidas stripes running through the middle here, kind of parallel on both the lateral and medial side, looks really good. Obviously, this being the leather upper variation, it does have a different look in comparison to the synthetic model that is a little bit more sleek in terms of its overall kind of shape. And also you do get the texturing in the upper that does give it a much more modern look than these, but it still does have that A16 look, especially from a distance. And again, I don't really have any major complaints in regards to the aesthetics. I'm not crazy about the launch colorway. If you like bright green shoes, these are definitely going to do it for you. And in all honesty, the bright green accenting with the pink and black doesn't actually look bad. I'm just not a crazy fan of the actual color combo for me to wear personally. But like I said, I think it's a pretty decent looking shoe. I like the look of the Ace line in general, and I'm sure we're going to see a lot of different variety as far as colorways are concerned with this entire lineup, including the leather upper variation. So if you don't necessarily like the launch one, there are actually several colors already available. Again, buy it now, links on the review page of my website if you want to check it out. But that's pretty much it in terms of what I have to think in regards to the overall aesthetics. Let me know your thoughts on these down below in the comment section. Do you like how these look? Why or why not? And with that being said, let's move on to the on-feet portion of the video so we can get a better idea as to how these shoes fit and of course what the sizing is like. All right, so here is a look at the leather A16.1s on feet. On my left foot I have the stock black laces that come with the shoes, and on my right foot I have a pair of green reflective SR4U replacement laces. If you're interested in a pair of replacement laces for yourself, the website to go to is www.sr4ulaces.com. You can find a direct link to that website down below in the description of this video. Now, in terms of how these things fit and feel on feet, they're relatively comfortable from right out of the box. The big thing for me when you put these on for the first time that you'll notice, especially when you pull the laces tight, is that the transition point between the leather and synthetic is very, very noticeable. So right here, you really feel that when your foot is inside of the shoe and the laces are pulled tight. There's a noticeable difference in softness. And like I said, the synthetic part is just a lot stiffer. When the shoes are in your hand, it doesn't seem like there's that big of a difference between the softness of the leather and the softness of the synthetic. But on feet, like I said, it's very, very noticeable. Not necessarily to the point where it's uncomfortable, but it's to the point where I don't love how they feel from out of the box. Will that change after some break-in time? Likely yes. This is a synthetic material that feels like it will give a little bit and will soften up over time, but at the same time this reminds me a lot of previous leather F50 models that a lot of people seem to like, and again did get more comfortable the more that you wear them. So again, if you really like the feel of older leather F50s, this is kind of on par with those. It's a stiffer synthetic midfoot area with a soft leather front, and like I said, very similar to what we've had in the past from Adidas. Plus, I really like the fit in the heel. It is better than what we had from previous F50 models, although it definitely is a little bit more clunky and just a little bit more bulky overall. As far as width is concerned, it definitely does have a decent amount of width through the forefoot and toe box area where it is actually made from natural leather, whereas the midfoot synthetic area is a lot tighter, a lot more narrow, and not particularly wide. So if you have really wide feet, probably not the best option for you. And as far as sizing is concerned, I'm wearing my usual size 9 US here, and the fit and length is absolutely perfect. So if you are looking to order a pair of these for yourself, I would strongly recommend going true to size in order to achieve the best possible fit. Alright guys, that is it for my first impressions of the Kangaroo Leather Ace 16.1 from Adidas. Expect to see more follow-up content on this shoe in the very near future on my channel. In the meantime, if you guys would like more info, be sure to check out the review page on my website. That'll be the very first link down below in the description. On that page, you'll find high quality images of this exact pair that I took myself, as well as buy it now links with exclusive SR4U coupon codes, where you'll be able to pick these guys up below their normal $200 retail price. So again, if you're interested in a pair, first link down below, go ahead and check it out. If you guys do have any questions at all regarding the leather Ace 16.1, leave them down below in the comments and I definitely will get an answer out to you. If you enjoyed today's video, found it helpful and informative, be sure to support it with a like. Subscribe if you haven't already for daily videos on all the latest and greatest soccer gear. You can find all my social media information linked in the description as well. And other than that, guys, hope you enjoyed today's video. And as always, thanks for watching.